to do more damage to it, successfully actually. Grunt blocking is something you really need to learn. He's going to do it again right here. It just helps you get the Archmage kill, and now he hopes he's going to be forced to port because he does not have the Boots of Speed. So now he made a mistake here. I think this is something human players should be aware of. Don't port with 20 health. I mean, it's good that he ported and didn't die, but port earlier when you have 80 health. You know, you should realize that he's probably going to die. Anyways, not a big deal. He sends his peasants to block the Blade Master from going in, which makes a lot of sense, but that gives Grubby level 2, and now he has Critical Strike. Looking back at Grubby's base, he's got the Lodge and the Bestiary going up, pretty standard, and the Shadow Hunter's about to come out. Shadow Hunter, because the Torn Chieftain's really not very good at level 1 or level 2 at stopping a tier 2 tower push. He's almost useless. Whereas with Hex, you can do some pretty serious damage to heroes and stuff like that. Anyways, Hopesy's lured out of his base by a Grunt. He tries to surround it, but that's not successful. And Grubby, sly Grubby, cancels the salve on the Archmage using that Grunt and then runs it away. At this point, here's something the Orc really has to be aware about. 6 minutes 11 into the game, give or take, the Mountain King's coming out. How do you know that? Because your tech is basically the same as his, and your Shadow Hunter's coming out, your second hero's coming out, and you don't want to be in his base when the Mountain King comes out, because he's going to bolt a Grunt or your hero, and you're going to lose things. You'll be forced to burn a port to save your hero, or to save a Grunt, or you'll pretty much lose a Grunt. So Grubby's aware of that and leaves the base before the Mountain King comes out. That's timing right there. Believe me, it's from experience. It's not an accident that he wasn't in the base when the Mountain King came out. So looking at Hopesy's base, the Sanctums are going up. Grubby's got his Shadow Hunter out and healing his Grunts. He's been doing really well. He's only lost 1 Grunt. Buys another Claw, so he's plus 18, which makes for some ridiculous critical strikes. And then he sends his Blade Master around to find the human army. Why is he doing this? Because he doesn't want the human creeping. Remember I said if the human's level 3 before his tower push, his Archmage that is, you're in a lot of trouble. So he's only got room for 1 Windwalk, which means that he can get surrounded if he burns it needlessly. He sees the Mountain King, he cancels some healing. No, there was no there was healing on the Archmage, I think. He cancels that and Windwalks. Now he knows where the human army is, and he goes to engage it with Ensnare, Hex. No, he doesn't have Ensnare yet, but Hex, etc. First thing he does, Ensnares, Hexes and focuses the hero. Orc takes a lot of flack for this, you know, the right-click hero race, but Hopesy burned his port, which is really huge, and that means go hero focusing, and the Archmage does go down. You'll notice also Grubby used his Blade Master to block the Shadow Hunter surround, which is just, that's not something you're going to see at every level of play, believe me, that's Grubby. Anyways, the next thing he focuses is the Mountain King, partly because I think he can kill it. He thinks he can kill it and break the surround, which he almost succeeds in doing. And partly because footmen really aren't worth killing. They die really easily, but they're not really a huge threat to you. It's really the casters that are. So the Shadow Hunter does go down, but no one's there to get experience for the kill, so that's pretty good for Grubby. Notice after he ensnared that footman, he sends the raider out to ensnare something else once its cooldown's done. And he does get an extra source kill because of it, so that's another thing Orc should be able to do, is abuse Ensnare as much as possible. So now his Blade Master is almost level 3. Both the human heroes are dead, and he's got a 7 food advantage. So once again, pretty good early game by Grubby. It's too bad his Shadow Hunter died. He probably would have been level 2 by now if he didn't, but not a big deal really, because he got both human heroes before the Shadow Hunter died. Anyways, Grubby creeps, drops a Ring of Protection, which is unfortunate. That could have been Claws or Gloves, but it doesn't matter. He gets level 3. And a level 3 Blade Master, particularly when the Archmage is not level 3 and doesn't have a town portal, is pretty deadly. You can keep an eye on him and his creeping patterns and all that with the Blade Master. I notice he went to sell the Ring of Protection because it's really not that useful. He just misses seeing the human army with his Blade Master, but he had a peon there to find it. And that's another thing that's really, really intelligent on Grubby's part, is to have that peon there. Because it alerts him to when the militia are coming, and now he focuses the Archmage. I don't know if Hope Z was trying to creep there or what, but he's forced to run because that Archmage is going to die. And Grubby tries pretty hard. You notice he casts the Speed Scroll. He wants this Archmage kill. Gets another surround on it. Just as the Staff Teleportation is going to go off, he hexes it, and it's down. And you're going to say, like, this is so skillless, he's just right-clicking heroes, but this is pretty much what he has to do. The casters aren't so great against grunts, against Spirit Link Grunt Raider, without Brilliance Aura and without the water elementals. And if you kill the Archmage, and especially when it's that easy to kill with the plus 18 on the Blade Master, then you really don't have to worry about casters so much, and you can focus them down slowly. So anyways, he tries to get the Mountain King kill, but slow on the Blade Master. That is not autocast, by the way. I mean, I'm sure he has it on autocast, but humans should be able to manually cast slow on the Blade Master. It's like casting Cyclone on him. It takes away his DPS, and it's really important. So human players out there, get used to casting slow on the Blade Master. Hex goes off on the Source, both because that stops him from casting spells, also because that's the unit you want to kill first, once you've got the Archmage, is the Sorceresses, because they slow your grunts the most. And that takes away so much of your damage. Priests, they do damage, but they, you know, whatever, they're negligible. It's the Sorceresses that are more important. So Grubby gets a little greedy and chases the Mountain King into his base with no mana, and he's forced to burn a port. Maybe the one mistake he made in the game, but it was 50-50 because he was very close to getting that kill. If he had critted or whatever, if he had got a critical strike, he would have got the Mountain King kill there. Anyways, army composition: Grubby 42 food versus St0p 48. So St0p still has food advantage. You're wondering how that happened. You inevitably sacrifice a few units when you're fighting against militia and sorceresses, and all you're doing is right-clicking heroes. That sounds bad again, but that's what the Orc really had to do in that situation because the Archmage was so vulnerable. And he does have hero level advantage. So his next priority is going to be getting a level 3 Shadow Hunter for the level 2 healing wave, while his Blade Master, which is healing up, searches for the human and tries to deny experience. He's a little late, unfortunately, and now the human is 2-2, that's pretty good for the human. I mean, he still doesn't have the level 3 Archmage, he's pretty close, and he also still doesn't have a pot on the Archmage potion, sorry, slang. But St0p he's still in really good shape, surprisingly. I mean, I know you'd say he's been dominated all game long, really, but he's still in pretty good shape to win this game. He's playing well. I mean, aside from the few Archmage losses, I told you he had a really great surround on the grunt early on. Good save on the Mountain King. Like, he's playing well, which is important to note, I think. Anyways, St0p's here come the militia. He saw the Orc army, so he chases instead of going directly to the base, and he hasn't bought ivory towers because at this point, I don't think he's gonna. He's pretty much been so delayed that he's not gonna get the tower push off. Anyways, in terms of battle micro, one of the first things St0p did was focus down the Blade Master, and that may seem strange, but it was out of position, it was vulnerable, and also if you force him to windwalk, or you force him out of the battle, you take away a lot of the Orc's damage, so that's pretty important. Kodo micro on Grubby's part is huge. You'll notice he's already got 2 things devoured, one of them's a breaker, Spellbreaker. Those are kind of the main target for Devour, is the Spellbreakers, because they don't die very easily to slowed grunts. But he also devours a priest thing. If that's available, devour that. Anyways, his army's weak, so he runs the Shadow Hunter back to buy a healing scroll and to use a clarity potion so he can get more waves off, which is just another thing that Grubby would do that a lot of Orc players wouldn't do. And at this point, he's focusing down whatever's left on St0p's part. He still has to be wary of the Mountain King, because that can still kill his Blade Master pretty easily, given the chance. He also, at this point, microing your Walker is really important. Focuses down with that 204 damage critical strike. Walkers, the ethereal form, they can't be attacked by physical damage, so once he gets rid of the casters, which is pretty soon, there you go, he saves the Walker by changing forms, which is just another little thing that he can do right now, because he's taken away so much of the human's caster army. Anyways, now he's just focusing down. He doesn't have, there's no more slow really, there's only one sorceress left, so he can focus down whatever he wants. He transfers the potion of greater invulnerability to the Blade Master, and the game's over, and he says, well played. Which it was, very well played by both players. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what it takes to play standard versus human. It's not easy. Grubby makes it look really easy, but he tends to do that. Keys, again, keeping the Archmage below level 3, and ideally level 2 for as long as possible. Doing as